Good morning. Welcome to a quick take 5 on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, talking NFL Week 1 lines. We're going to have a lot of content this week between Prize Picks and Better Edge. Lots of shows coming out as the NFL season gets kicked off on Thursday. Today, I'm going to talk mostly Better Edge, talking about lines and spreads, not so much the totals, but focusing on just a couple key things that I noticed this morning. I'm going to try to do this every Tuesday, as normally we'll be coming out of a Monday Night Football game and moving into the next week. Week 1 is a little bit different. But before I talk about that, Better Edge, great place to get yourself the most value. I'll talk about later in the show. 9 out of the 16 spreads this week, you can find a better value right now on Better Edge. I'll highlight those as we go through. And it's a great place. Use the code 5RSN. Get yourself $20 from 5 Reasons Sports when you sign up. Social betting network where you can get yourself value on the line. You can pay no vig. It's just a great way to maximize your bankroll. We're going to start talking first on the Thursday night game. The Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champs, it's a 3-point line. You're going to see this in multiple games this week, that key numbers of 3 and 7 are definitely being held strong by the books. If you go to Better Edge, obviously you can make your own lines. That doesn't necessarily matter. The Chiefs are favored by 3 against the Ravens. Thursday night football, getting their rings. I think I lean Chiefs at this point just because of the home field advantage. I'm not sure what we're going to get with the Ravens, and I'll lean Chiefs, but it's going to be a great game, great matchup there to start off the season with. Going to Friday, this game is in Brazil, Packers-Eagles. Eagles are favored by 3. This is one of the games, if you go to Better Edge, you can get the 2.5. Obviously, a 3 is a key number, so if you can get 2.5, if you want the Eagles, go to Better Edge. If you want the Packers, getting 3 rather than 2.5 on the other end of it on Better Edge, that would not be to your advantage. But again, you can set your own line. In this case, I would also, really whichever way it goes. I think both these teams are going to be very good. If it's 2.5, I would lean Eagles. If it's 3.5, I would lean Packers. At the number 3, I still think I would lean Packers a little bit. I'm just not sure with the Eagles what you're going to get out of them. I feel more confident in the Packers. I would lean over on this. This is a game where I believe both teams just traveled to Brazil yesterday. So the week and prep and things like that, it's just going to be a weird week. It's at 48.5 right now. That number has been pushed up over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, but I still think there's some value there, but it is right around a key number again for the total. Starting with the Dolphins, 1 o'clock on Sunday. These are all Sunday games moving forward until we get to the last game. Jaguars coming to Miami. Miami's 3-point favorites. If you go to Better Edge, you can get the Jags at 3. Some books only have it at 2.5. Again, if I can get the Dolphins at 2.5, I would go there. Jags at 3. I don't think I would go there. 3.5. I still think the Dolphins are going to win. And again, I think this is going to be one of those shootout type games. Totals at 49.5. Looking for the best number on that. Steelers, Falcons, that is a 3-point line. Falcons favored by 3 against the Steelers. Could it be the first year that the Steelers don't have a winning record under Mike Tomlin? Not sure what you're going to get out of the Falcons. This is one of those games where if you go to Better Edge, you can get the Falcons minus 2.5, and I like that a heck of a lot more than paying on the 3 against the Steelers in that opening game. Game in Atlanta, Falcons minus 2.5. I really like that one a lot. Next game, Vikings at Giants. Vikings are favored on the road by 1.5 points. You can get Vikings minus 1 on Better Edge. I would obviously prefer that. The Giants do not seem to be a very good team this year, but the Vikings also have questions at quarterback. I think that they're going to be better offensively than people think. I think the quarterback issue is a little bit overblown with the Vikings, so I would go Vikings there. If you can get minus 1 on Better Edge, essentially you're just picking a winner, and I really like that game. Titans at Bears. Obviously, the Bears starting off with their new rookie Caleb Williams. They're 4.5-point favorites against the Titans. Titans have a coaching change. So there's questions about what team these teams are going to look like. The Bears have a lot of good offensive weapons. I would lean Bears in this at 4.5. I think that's a pretty good number. Moving forward, Panthers, Saints. This division is just an absolute disaster. The Saints are favored by 4, which I think is very interesting. I don't know if they are 4 points better than anybody in the NFL. Sorry to my friend Ray. But the Panthers, I would lean Panthers, honestly, in this. 4 points against it's probably more of a toss-up than anything. That's where I would lean. Continuing 1 o'clock slate, Cardinals at Bills. Hopefully the Bills, for their sake, it's not too hot outside. We know how that goes early in the season for them. Bills are favored by 6 in this game. I think that's a big number. I think the Cardinals are going to be a little bit better than people think. And I would probably lean Cardinals there. But watch that number as it ticks up. If it ticks up closer to 7, then you're really getting some value there. Patriots at Bengals. This is the biggest spread of the week. Bengals are favored by 9. Patriots look awful in the preseason. probably the worst team in the league. If you go to Better Edge, you can get that at Bengals -8. Not a key number, so it's not that big of a deal, but definitely getting value there if you like the Bengals and the biggest difference in the spread this week. Next one, Texans at Colts. Texans are favored by 2.5. Again, if you go to Better Edge, you can get that at Texans -2, so you save yourself a half a point. Again, not a key number necessarily, but this is one of those games that is at 2.5 on the consensus line rather than the 3s that you're seeing on a lot of games. This is where I would definitely lean if it's 2.5 on Texans. If it gets above that 3 or at the 3, then you got to start thinking about Colts a little bit. Moving into the 4 o'clock window, Broncos at Seahawks. Seahawks are 6-point favorites against the Broncos. Broncos, big questions because of the quarterback situation. Seahawks are looking good this year. I think the Seahawks are the play there, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos keep that competitive in a division game. Again, a 4 o'clock game, Raiders at Chargers. Chargers 3-point favorites. The Chargers, big questions because you have a new quarterback, injuries at a new head coach. Injuries at quarterback. I was going to say there's injuries at a coach, but I guess unless you're the NCAA punishing Harbaugh, that he's probably not too banged up. Raiders coming in, not looking like a very good team. I don't know if I would trust the Chargers, though, to be 3 points better. So I would be a little bit hesitant there. If you go to Better Edge, you can get the Raiders at 3.5. And if you give me 3.5 versus the 3, then I bet the Raiders. Still a 4 o'clock game, Cowboys at Browns. Browns are favored by 2.5, which I think is an interesting line to some. Cowboys are a team that some people think are going to just be an absolute disaster this year. Browns, you have questions. You don't have Nick Chubb. I think that they're going to be a good team and at home. Their defense is very good. Both teams have very good defenses. So I would lean 2.5 there. But if it got to 3 or 3.5, for sure I'd go with the Cowboys. Last 4 o'clock game, Commanders going to Tampa. Tampa is a 3-point favorite. I would lean probably with the Commanders. I mean, you have a rookie quarterback, but I think that their offense is going to be solid. The Bucs, I don't know. It's a little bit of a question there. But at home, again, at that key number, you just got to be mindful of that. Moving into Sunday Night Football, the Rams at the Lions. This is 2 quarterbacks that played for the opposite teams. Right now, the Lions are 3.5-point favorites at home against the Rams. I think the Rams are going to be better than people think. So that 3.5 is definitely a value number. If it's at 3, I think I would go back to leaning on the Lions. If it's under 3, which I don't think it will happen because of that key number, I would definitely lean Lions there. Last game of the week, Jets at 49ers. Let's hope that Aaron Rodgers, or maybe let's not hope that Aaron Rodgers can have a little bit more of a successful debut than he did last year. 49ers, 3.5-point favorites. Again, you're seeing all these games are right around that key number of 3. It's not an easy week if you're doing Survivor. There's only that one big game against the Patriots for the Bengals. Everything else is right around a field goal spread. So 49ers -3.5. You can get the Jets +4 if you want them on Better Edge. That's a value there. I would lean 49ers, but if it's I just don't know what to think about the Jets, and I just don't necessarily buy into the Aaron Rodgers hype too much. So a lot of very close spreads. The one thing right now, because everything is sitting on 3s, and with that Bengals game that got bet up, I love betting teasers, 2-team teasers. You get them at 120, you get yourself 6.5 points. There's not a lot out there. The ones that fit the Wong teasers are Giants +1.5. You would bump that up to 7.5. I like that against the Vikings. Colts +2.5. The Colts play the Houston Texans. That would bump up to 8.5 because you're trying to go through the 3 and the 7. Not sure I like that because I think the Texans are a good team, but it is a division game. And then that Cowboys-Browns game, 2.5, you could bump the Cowboys up to 8.5 and go through the 3 and the 7. But again, I don't know. I don't know which one. I would probably eliminate the Colts and go Giants-Cowboys. Let's see as the week goes on if any of those games fall off of the 3 down to a 2.5, and then you would bump the dog up. Besides that Patriots game is not going to get low enough that you're really getting the true value. You might have to look to be unique and do some things like, if you took the Lions 6 points and got them +3 at home, stuff like that. It's just not conventional in the way you do it. But check out Better Edge. I told you where there's some values. There's 9 games where you can get value on the consensus line. We'll have some prize picks going on. We'll have some contests starting this week. So keep an eye out for those. Thanks for tuning in.